Welcome back to my channel. So in this video we're going to be doing an eye look using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. We don't know what we're going to come up with today, but we're just going to go ahead and dive in so we can get moving today. So I've already primed my eyes with the Anastasia's eye primer. So I'm going to zoom you guys in just a little bit so we can go ahead and get this look started. Now we're going to act like my eyebrows did not have a mind of their own today. We're going to try to fix them as we finish the video. But until then, we're going to go ahead and keep it moving. So I am going to start with, like I said, I don't know what I want to actually come up with. So we're just going to wing it, the norm, and just see how, not how, or what we can come up with. I'm actually looking for this brush. I'm never prepared. Okay, so we're going to go in with the shade. Let's do Raw Sienna, which is the first matte shade on the bottom row. And we're going to apply this shade into our crease area. And just blend it. Well, we're gonna pat first, because I did not set the base. I'm gonna pack it all above the crease and into the crease. And I am using this MAC 224 fluffy brush. And I'm placing most of it on the top of the outer V of the eye. And just packing it on the crease area. I'm going to do the same for this eye. And you can see you can use any type of blending brush that's fluffy. And we're just making sure we pack it like really good to our liking. You can apply less or you can apply more. It's just, up to, what you want to do. What kind of look you're trying to come up with. Whether it's a more bolder or really, really soft transition. And I'm just still packing. I think I want to do a pan that palette, start panning the palette, but I'm not sure what palette I want to start panning. I guess I have to go through my collection and see which one I want to begin with. So just pack just a little bit more, then we'll go on to the next shade. And these shadows are like really, really pigmented, and they blend like really, really good. So you won't have any problem blending these shadows. So now we're going to keep the same brush and start blending in circular motions. Because when we placed it, it was just sitting on top of the eyeshadow base. Now you want to make sure it's blended where it doesn't look like it's just packed on your eyelid. And I'm just blending out and over the shadow into my inner corner and blending it out in the inner corner and the outer V. And just a random, if you guys do your makeup almost every day like I do, let me know, because this is like therapy for me and my me time. I just love it. I just love it. I know it's random. I just wanted to put it out there. So now we're going to keep the same brush, and now we're going to go in with the shade, let's see, Golden Ochre. I'm going to try to put that in the brow bone area with this same brush. and see how that places. We don't know yet, but we're gonna try it, and we're gonna just blend the top of the shade Raw Sienna. And that way we'll be able to fix these brows when we are done, because the concealer will not be as wet. It'll be set, so we can kind of like fix them. Okay, so I feel like that's enough placed. So we're gonna clean the brush, and I love my little black towels. And I bought some specifically for this. And we're gonna go back in with Raw Sienna and place it back in the crease area to make sure it's blended going up into the brow bone area. And this is a nice fall palette. Do the same thing for the other eye. Like I said, it blends like so good. You don't have to really do a whole lot of work. Just get you some fluffy brushes and dense crease brushes and a shader brush, and you're good to go. So the next shade I want to go in with is the shade Red Ochre. And I'm going to go in with this Morphe 433 brush, and it's just this flat blending brush, Red Ochre. And we're going to apply it right in the outer V up into the crease. And this baby is really pigmented. So you're not going to go up too far, because we don't want this maroonish reddish type shade to just take over this eye look. So we're going to concentrate it right in the crease area. And that's why I'll use this brush, because if I would have used my fluffier brush like I normally do, it would have went higher than I wanted the shade to. So I want to use this more denser brush so I can control where the shadow is being placed. So we're going to do the same thing for the other eye. And you're going to blend it in that crease area. And just continue to blend. I'm going to pack a little bit more because I feel like I went so heavy on the other side. And this eye doesn't have as much shadow and pigment as the other eye. And we're going to go back in and start blending the other eye again. That's coming together really pretty. So I'm just going to continue to blend this eye. Now I did not add any more shadow on this brush for this eye. We're going to kind of work out the shade that has already been placed. I'm going to add a little bit more for this eye, because I feel like I said, a lot more is placed on the other eye, or maybe it's just my lighting on this side, but we just want to make sure it all comes together well. And we're just going to blend a little bit more. And you don't necessarily have to have this palette. If you have these similar shades, you still can recreate this look. So we're just going to blend a little more, because I have to make sure my shadows are like blended, and blended. Okay, so, and make sure these edges are like blended really good. So I think that's coming together. So now we're going to go back in with the shade Raw Sienna with this MAC 224 brush. And we're going to make sure this shadow is still right in the area above the crease and right in the crease, lightly adding the shade back to that area, because I don't want it to disappear. I want it to still be on top of that shade, although we went up just a little bit in the crease area. So I like that so far. It's coming together like really, really good. So now we're going to go in with this fluffier, more fluffier, softer brush. And this brush does not have a name. Yes, it does. BH Cosmetics. It's just this little black marble handled brush. I'm not sure what collection it came out of, or if it even came out of a collection. But we're going to take this brush. We're not going to apply any shadows and just blend the brow bone area and the crease area. I like to do this when I have not applied any more shadow to the brush and I'm actually trying to finish the eye look without adding any more product that will cause me to have to sit here and continue to blend. So you just take a clean brush and make sure your shadows are blended to your liking, which I think is pretty good this morning. So next we're going to go in with our glitter glue. And we're going to use the Too Faced glitter glue. And we're going to do my norm. Pop 2 dollops on the back of my hand. Not too much, because you don't want to irritate your eyes and have a bunch of glue all over the place. I need a little bit more for this other little dollop. Okay, so you got 2 dollops of it, and we'll take one of them and the center of the lid, close to the lash line, and I'm going to place it all over my lid today. And you can feel it, feel the tackiness of it, so you know it's ready for a shimmer or glitter. So we're going to do the same thing for this eye, and I like to use my ring finger because your ring finger is the lightest, especially when you're playing around your eye area, so that it doesn't make it sore and you're pressing too hard on it. So now I think I want to go in with the shade. Let's do, is that a shimmer shade? It is not, well, I don't know if I want to do that. Yeah, let's go in with the shade Venetian Red, which is a satin-like shimmer shade. We're going to go with that same finger and pack it onto that area where you place the glitter glue. Going to take a little bit more. And I just want to make sure it's really placed on this eye look. That's a really pretty shade. It's not like over the top. It's like just really pretty. So we're going to take a little bit more for the other eye and pack it. And you want to lightly pack it. You don't want to just, stab your eye with it. You just want to lightly pack this shadow. My nails are not done this week. And then pack a little bit more. This is so pretty. And I don't mind it going a little up in my crease, only because we use this red ochre shade, and it's going to blend like really, really well with that shade. Okay, so we're going to make sure we just pack it really good, and it's set onto that glitter glue. So now what I'm going to do, go back in with the 433 brush and just blend. I'm not adding any more shadows. We're just blending those edges. And you want to lightly blend so you won't separate your shadows, because I can still feel the kind of moisture from this shade being a little more on the creamy side, and I don't want to make it patchy from placing it with my finger. And we're just going to lightly blend in circular motions to get this shadow diffused. And this is like really pretty this morning. And a lot of my looks that I record are in the mornings before I go to work, because I feel like this is pretty much the only time I can really record, because I'm refreshed. I just woke up and everything is like perfect, it's quiet, and I can actually concentrate. So we're going to go back in with red ochre and just apply a little bit more on the brush, and make sure we just place it back into the outer V, going back up into that crease just a little bit, not a whole lot. Okay, so now we're going to go back in with this MAC 224 brush. I'm not adding any more shadow because I don't want it to start looking muddy. So what I'm going to do is just blend out the red ochre that I just placed back on the outer V, and blend our crease to make sure everything is seamless. Now we're going to go in with the BH brush and just make sure everything else is blended closer to the brow bone without adding any shadows. Okay, I think that is like pretty. I like it. Let's make sure these corners are blended well. And I'm using a 433 again to make sure this shade goes out to my outer V, the satin shimmer shade. Okay, so that does it for the eyeshadow look. So we're going to clean up under our eyes, the norm, my makeup wipe, and my simple micellar water. So I'm going to put a couple of drops on the makeup wipe that's already wet, so it didn't take a whole lot of drops to clean up the under eye area. So I like to take the wipe, wrap it around my finger. Like I said, I can control where I want to move the shadow, so the wipe is not like removing anything else on my eye. So we're going to clean up our eye and around our brows. These brows are like funky wonky this morning. I'm always trying to make sure they're like perfect, knowing they're not going to be twins, but they say they're going to be sisters. No, I'm sorry, not sisters, but twins, one of them. They just going to be cousins. How about that? So now we're going to zoom in, show you the guide, show you the final look of the shadow. This is like beautiful. And like I said, it blended like really, really good. So now that we're zoomed in, y'all know I like to do my final touches on the shadows when I'm zoomed all the way in, because I do not like to do this when I go off camera. Because it's just my opinion, because I feel like when you do stuff off camera, you're missing steps that if people are following your tutorial and trying to achieve your look, and if you continue to work on it, off camera, they're gonna miss some steps. So that's why I try to do this part. And this is the MAC brush, and we're just blending out the soft raw sienna shade. Okay, so this is the final look of the eyes. So we're going to go ahead with the rest of our face. I am back with my I'm sorry, my eyeliner and lashes applied, and I have moisturized and prepped my skin for the foundation. And I use the the Flutter Lashes in the style Irresistible. And this is what it looks like. These are some nice everyday lashes as well. They're really thin, they're not too dramatic. I like how they brought this eye look together. So now I'm gonna zoom you guys back out so we can continue the rest of my face, so we can get this video moving and ended. So I am going to be using the Juvia's Place foundation, and this one, the stick foundation rather, and this is in the shade Dominica. And I used this foundation in my last video, and I really liked how it performed on the skin, so I decided to use it again today. Now I'm not sure how it lasts throughout the day, so that's going to be a first for me since I'm actually going to work with this foundation on, and let's see how it works. So now I'm going to add the shade Brasilia, which is a more lighter neutral shade, on top of that shade to kind of tone it down just a bit, and it looks good, you know, mixed together for my skin tone. And I'm just dragging it down my neck a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to take our Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. I love this brush applying my foundation. So we're going to blend it out. And we're going to drag it down our neck where we placed it. And this and it's applying so smooth, you can't even feel it. So I'm excited to see how it wears throughout the day. Under my chin, and I like to drag down my neck so that my neck and my face are the same color. So we're gonna go down the bridge of my nose, and you can add a little more, you know, if you want to, or you don't have to use as much as I used. Like I said, I'm working all day. My days are not over until 5 o'clock, 8 to 5. So I like to apply a little bit more than I probably should, just for the added coverage, in case I have to blot throughout the day. And I've tried to fix these brows off camera. So let's see. Just make sure it's blended like really, really well. So I feel like I'm going to add just a little bit more of the shade Dominica, because I feel like I need a little bit more coverage in this area, because I'm going to highlight and contour and bronze the other area that I don't really need a whole lot of product. So this time I'm going to go in with my sponge and pat this shade in, the second layer in, because I want to make sure you can actually see the foundation, have a little more coverage, because you know when you apply oils and moisturizers and stuff, it tends to thin out your foundation. So we're just blending it into place. And this blender also gives it that flawless finish where it doesn't look streaked from a brush. So I'm liking this. Like I said, I used it in my last video, but of course it's on the weekend, so I've never used it going to work. So now I'm going to contour with the shade Gimia, and it's a deeper bronzy looking shade. And we're just going to apply a little bit under our cheeks, on our forehead, and our jawline. Okay, so now we're going to take this little Sephora brush, it's full of powder, and we're going to blend out the areas we place this contour shade. And it blends like really, really good. Now the areas below our cheek. And I like to drag it down almost to the corner of my mouth, because I like that really contoured look. And then the other side. Okay. And then we're going to blend the edges around our hairline and temple. And this looks a little orange right now, but we're going to brighten it up just a bit. I'm just making sure it's just really like blended in my hairline, so we won't have that effect where it is not blended. So now I'm going to go in with, let's do our beauty blender one more time and kind of make sure this area is seamless with the oils and stuff. And now we're going to go in with the concealer, and I'm going to start out with a more skin tone like shade, and this is in the shade number 17. And I'm going to use this to place a little bit under my eye area. And my forehead area, along with my chin. And now we're going to go in with a lighter shade. And I'm going to use, because I want to brighten up just a little bit because of this orangey look shade. And the number 20, it's like a lighter shade. We're not going to apply too much, but enough to brighten up that under eye area. Going to apply a little bit on top of that shade. And then a little bit in the area going down the bridge of my nose. Now while that's setting, I'm going to go in and try to make sure these brows are still intact. And we're going to take the Morphe pencil, and this is in the shade Almond. And we're going to just clean up these brows and make sure they're still intact. And I'm lightly doing light strokes, because when we start adding powder, I don't want to lose the shape of them. I'm doing light strokes and under the brow. Okay. So now I feel like we're ready to blend these concealers. Well, let's first just kind of drag this down because I feel like I'm a little bit on the oily side until I set it. So let's do that to kill a couple of more seconds. Just make sure everything is blended well. Now we're going to start with the chin area, and I just like to stamp it like right in that same spot. And what I do for this when I get done making sure I blend around my mouth just to keep it lightened, and then I go up under where I contoured with the rest of the concealer, and that helps you give that chiseled look when you go back in and bronze and use your setting powder. So now we're going to blend the forehead, and I like to make sure I kind of like stay in this area as much as possible because I don't want my whole forehead to be light. But then I'll take the flat end and kind of blend out the edges of where it ended when I started first blending. And then I'm going to squeeze it tight as I can and go down the bridge of my nose. And I do this because I will go all over my brows if I'm not careful, or if I let it go too soon, it will get messy. And then I have to clean up my brows again. So now we're going to go in under our nose first on the side, blending on our eyes. And I like to drag out and then slowly drag up. This way the product is not sitting right under your eye area. You want to make sure you blend that really, really good. Really good. So now you're going to do the same thing for the other side. Kind of make sure it's blended right in that area of your nose, and then start blending out, going up above that bronzing spot. Then you're going to go up again, and this way you're going to start, like I said on the other side, slowly dragging the product up rather than starting right underneath your eye where the concealer was thick. And then you have more in this area rather than directly under the eye area. And I think I'm going to do a lot of my videos this way. That way you guys will see me using additional products rather than the same products over and, well, not you, yeah, that makes sense, yeah. So you guys will see me using other face products rather than just eyeshadows, if that makes sense. So now I'm going to take my Juvia's Place brush. This brush, I love this brush for my under eye area. And my Beauty Bakery Better Not Bitter setting powder in the shade Translucent. Yeah, Translucent. And we're just going to take it on our brush. And you want to lightly fluff this on. You don't want to press down on it. You want to lightly fluff it on this under eye area where you have your concealer. Because if you start pressing too hard down on it, you're going to see a lot of creasing early on. So I try to do it really, really light in that area. Now when you're doing right here, you can kind of do a little, press a little bit harder. But when you start going up like you place the concealer, you want to lightly touch that under eye area. Like really light, fluff it, like really, really light. And then we'll go around and set. So let's apply a little bit more because you don't want it to move throughout the day. So I feel like we've already set it pretty good. So we're going to adjust a little more, lightly fluffing again. And you don't want to fluff too much and you fluff setting powder in your eye, because I have done it several times and It is no fun. So now we're going to set around the nose area and then the forehead area where we place the concealer. You want to set everywhere you brightened up, because we're going to go back in, then I'm going to go over my brow. We're going to go back in with the rest of our face, setting everything else. And your chin area around to your mouth area. Because like I said, you want to set everywhere you put this concealer. And I want to make sure I got a good amount of powder right around my nose, because that's why I tend to start getting where my foundation starts sweating. Okay. And my brows, because between my brows and this area I'll be an oily mess. Okay, so I think we have done that pretty good for that part. So now we are going to go in with this in the mornings, this Ben Nye medium beige suede shade, and we're going to take this LA Colors fluffy brush. I'm just going to dip it in a little bit. You don't want to get carried away with this shade. And this is just going to bring back a little more warmth back to my face so we can finish the rest of it. And I like to go around this area first, because that's where most of the product is on the brush, and then drag down to set the rest of where the oils and moisturizers were placed. And then we're going to take a little bit more and place it on our forehead around our temple area. And around right around my nose, up where I bronzed. And you can feel it mattifying all of the oils and stuff that you placed on your face. So next we're going to bronze a little bit. I'm going to use this Sonia Kashik bronzer. I like this bronzer. It's like a luminosity illuminating bronzer. So we're going to, and this is what it looks like. It's really pretty. It looks like a highlighter, but I love it to bronze with. So we're going to take the, if I can find this brush, this Alamar brush, and take a little bit and right in that contour area. And take a little bit more. And then go around your face and your temple, your forehead rather, and your temple area. And then your jawline and down. Because you want everything to, you know, run together. You don't want your neck looking like something else. So let's apply a little, just a little bit more, not too much more, but just a little bit more. And you want to concentrate it right in that area where you begin bronzing. And then go up just a little bit where your temple is. And around. So now we're going to add some blush. We're going to go in with the Carity Blush palette. And we're going to use both shades together. This thing is like so pigmented. You want to just like lightly dab until you get enough on there. And then I like to go in with another brush because it's so pigmented. We're going to go back in with this LA Colors brush and just make sure it is blended. gonna make sure we do that. And you can see it's like blending really, really good. So now we're going to highlight. And we're gonna go ahead and keep this same palette out. And we're gonna use the same brush that we used to set our under eye. And we're gonna take this gold shade and we're going to highlight with this baby. Right in this area. And it is so pretty. It's a pretty everyday highlight. It's not over the top or too gold. It's like just right. Then we're gonna pack some more and place it in the same area. And then we're going to put a little bit, of course, on my nose. And my cupid's bow. So now we're going to take this airspun powder and the end of the sponge and carve out the bronze contour area. Okay, so while that's setting, we're going to go in with our liner. I'm going to use my Maybelline Definer line. I love this eyeliner, and it like runs as soon as I get to work, but I still love it. And we're going to just press, we're not going to pull, just so we can place a little bit of liner on the waterline. Okay. Yes. And now, we're not going to apply any shadows on the lower lash line. We're just going to go with our mascara and coat these bottom lashes. And drag down. Ooh. It's gonna be a mess. Okay, so that's coming together beautifully. So now we're going to take this fluffy brush by ABH that we started with, and we're going to do this to make sure these edges are seamless with the base. Okay, and then we're going to go back in with our Morphe pencil, because with all these powders, the eyebrows kind of like started fading a bit. And we're just going to lightly fill them back in around the edges. Okay, so that is perfect. And okay, I'm looking for this end. We're gonna flick out these ends. And then we're going to add a little brow gel while that powder still sits. And now we're going to line our lips with my Lorac Duchess. It's a beautiful shade. Pretty, pretty, pretty. And now we're going to apply some e.l.f. like a nudie pink. to our lips. Super pretty. So now we're going to set this look because we are done. So now we're going to spray everything together. Okay, we're going to fan it a little bit before we do our final last step, which is making sure these lines are blended. So now I'm going to take my beauty sponge. We're going to spray it, like saturate it really good, and then make sure these lines are blended. And do it again. And the same thing for this side. And we're just gonna make sure everything else is pressed in really good. Your neck, your forehead, your face, everything. Everything but your under eye area. Because it will stay put. So this is the final look. Let me scratch my hair a little bit. And it's still a little wet. I did not rewash it. Yesterday I kind of just like saturated this morning with a little more conditioner and with my spray bottle. So this is the final look. I hope you guys like this look. I hope you guys like this, the way I do this video. If you want me to continue to do it this way, let me know in the comment section. Or if you prefer me to continue to do my eyes, come back with my full face. Or if you want me to continue to do my eyes, put on my lashes line and come back with my base. And just let me know in the comment section. And if you have not done so already, please comment, like, and subscribe to my channel to become a part of my YouTube family here. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.